Hey guys, Big Phil here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to answer a very important question I've received from some of you guys, which is, instead of buying the Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus, why not get the last year Galaxy S22 Ultra, which you can pick it up right now for a very good price. It has an amazing discount right now. So I'm here to answer that question by giving you guys my honest opinion, and by the end of the video, I will let you know which one has a better value for your money. So please stay tuned to the end of the video, and if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on notification for a lot of good videos come up on Big Phil TV. Let me start this video by talking about the prices of these two devices, because I know a lot of people who are asking this question are people who are on a budget. People want to buy a smartphone, but they are on a budget. So which one is better? For the Galaxy S22 Ultra, which is 1 year old right now because it was released last year, so it's an older smartphone, but it was the best smartphone of last year. Trust me guys, the S22 Ultra was the best big and full loaded smartphone of last year. For now, you can pick it up for about $1,000 or even less than. If you look around, especially on Amazon, you can even find it for a price of about $800 or $900 right now. While the S23 Plus is the newest smartphone from Samsung, and it's still very expensive. It costs $1,000. So if you're comparing the price between the S22 Ultra and the S23 Plus, then I would say the S22 Ultra has a better deal right now. The price have dropped. If you just look around, especially on eBay, on Amazon, you will find it for a very good price. But you want to stay tuned to the end of the video to find out more other reasons why you might want to consider either the S22 Ultra or the S23 Plus. And secondly, the design and size of these two smartphones. And when it comes to the size especially, I would say the S23 Plus is the best because it feels good in the hands. It just have a very nice size for everybody, any type of hands, as compared to the S22 Ultra, which is very uncomfortable in the hands because it's a big phone. It is huge. And the edges, it has a curved edges, which I'm not a big fan of curved edges because there are a lot of accidental touches. So if you're not a fan of curved edges, then you want to go with the S23 Plus because the S23 Plus has a flat display, which I'm a big fan of, and it feels good in the hands. For the design, they are both very good looking smartphones. You wouldn't go wrong buying any of these two smartphones. And that's the reason why the S23 Ultra of this year looks the same as the S22 Ultra of last year. So the design are good. And for that reason, Samsung didn't change much about the design of these two smartphones. They look similar as the last year S22 Ultra and S22 Plus. But for me, I will go with the S23 Plus because of the size and because it has a flat display. For the build quality, I would say the S23 Plus is better. That's because it has the newest Gorilla Glass Victus 2 as compared to the last year Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the S22 Ultra. So all I'm going to say is, if you're someone who likes using your smartphone without putting it in a case, then the S23 Plus is a better buy because the Gorilla Glass Victus 2 is improved and much stronger and much resistant to scratches as compared to the last year S22 Ultra Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. In terms of display, the S22 Ultra is the clear winner. It has a bigger, good display at 6.8 inches of dynamic AMOLED 2X screen with 120Hz refresh rate and HDR10+. The peak brightness can go up to 1750 nits. That's a lot of brightness. And it has a resolution of 1440 by 3088. The PPI density is also very high at 500. That is a lot of brightness. That is an amazing display. And compare the S22 Ultra of last year with the S23 Ultra of this year. They have an amazing, almost very similar display. But comparing it to the S23 Plus, which has only a 1080p display, the display is 6.6 inches of dynamic AMOLED 2X screen with 120Hz HDR10+, and the brightness can also go up to 1750 nits, which is great. But the only downside is the resolution is only 1080p, and even the PPI is very low at 393, very low as compared to the S22 Ultra, which has an amazing display. So I would say is if someone who if you're using your smartphone a lot for content consumption or creating content or doing a lot of stuff on your smartphone, then the S22 Ultra of last year is the better buy because the display is still one of the best even in 2023. When it comes to performance, the S23 Plus is the clear winner. That's because it has the newest Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 as compared to the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 on the S22 Ultra. And it also has the newest Android 13 with Samsung One UI 5.1 on top of it. The S22 Ultra is upgradable. I think there's an update right now which is going to upgrade the device to Android 13 and Samsung One UI 5.1. But if you just want the latest performance, the newest performance, which is Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, then you want to go with the S23 Plus. If the storage capacity is very important to you, then the last year S22 Ultra is a winner. That's because it has more storage option and the storage can goes up to 1 terabyte. Yes, it has a 1 terabyte storage with 12 gig of RAM. As compared to only 2 storage options for the S23 Plus. The S23 Plus only comes in 256 gigabyte and 512 gigabyte of internal storage, and they only have 8 gig of RAM. So there's no 12 gig of RAM with the S23 Plus. So all I'm saying is if you're looking for a smartphone with lots of storage, because also remember, these two smartphones doesn't have an SD card slot. So if you're looking for a smartphone with lots of storage, then the S22 Ultra of last year is the clear winner. 1 terabyte with 12 gig of RAM. Another big win for the S22 Ultra of last year is the cameras. It has more cameras than the S23 Plus. It has 4 main cameras. There is a 108 megapixel camera with f1.8, 10 megapixel with f4.9, 10 megapixel again with f2.4, and a 12 megapixel f2.2 cameras. 4 main cameras, and you can shoot up to 8K videos at 24 frames per second on these cameras. So when it comes to the cameras, the S22 Ultra is amazing. For the S23 Plus, it has 3 main cameras. And the 3 main cameras, the main camera is 50 megapixel with f1.8, and 10 megapixel with f2.4, and a 12 megapixel at f2.2. So there are just 3 main cameras. You can also shoot up to 8K videos at 24 or 30 frames per second. But meanwhile, on the S22 Ultra of last year, you can only shoot 8K video at 24 frames per second. So there's no 30 frames per second. But to me, listen, if you're a content creator or if you're buying this smartphone for doing a lot of photo shoots, a lot of videos, then the S22 Ultra of last year is a clear winner. More cameras, better cameras, more megapixels, are just amazing, especially for low light. The S22 Ultra also has a bigger battery than the S23 Plus. It has a 5,000 milliamps battery, which I believe can last you much longer than the 4,700 milliamps battery on the S23 Plus. So if you're looking for a smartphone with more battery, which can last you much longer, then the S22 Ultra of last year is the better buy. These two smartphones can be charged at up to 45 watt wired charging, 15 watt wireless charging, and 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging for both devices. Other features that are very similar on these two smartphones include things like stereo speakers. They both have stereo speakers and they are tuned by AKG. They both have Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2 on the last year S22 Ultra, and Bluetooth 5.3 on this year S23 Plus. They both have NFC, GPS, USB Type-C, in-display fingerprint, Samsung DeX, Samsung Pay, and a whole lot of other features are available on these two smartphones. And that's all for this comparison video between the S22 Ultra of last year and the S23 Plus of this year. Now, what is my final verdict about these two smartphones? Honestly, the S22 Ultra of last year has the best value right now. Best value for your money. The reason being that it is cheaper. I mean, if you look around, especially on Amazon or eBay, you can find it for a very good discount. It has a big, beautiful display. It has more cameras. It has a bigger battery. It has an S Pen, which is very good. So it is a great smartphone with great value right now. So if it's me and my money, I will go with the S23 Ultra, even though I'm not really a big fan of the size. It is very big, it's chunky, but it just have a lot of features that are not available on the S23 Plus or that are better than on the S23 Plus. So yeah, and that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what are your thoughts about these two smartphones. Which one will you go for? Or what are your thoughts? Let us know down in the comment section. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up.